Hello everyone, my name is Wade the Wallaby, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, things are getting better. um, Finally, there is a breakthrough. This Discord thing is not making me stress. There is a link in the description, just look at it. Um, so, I wonder what is I wonder if its Steam would be working better or would be something else. Now, obviously, if you notice something back here, yeah, that is a wall. This is something very new that, you know, see, see it? It's very bright out. Obviously, it's just, it's like 7:20 a.m. and you can see here, there is this wall here. My mom gave this to me so you'll not be able to see what's behind here. You know, just to make it more compact for some reason. My stomach has been weird. I don't know what it's saying. It's angry. You can see the sunlight is right there. I wonder. Whoa, the sun's right there. Wow, it's right there. The sun is. Yeah. And when I say don't look at the sun, I'll bet you my blue eyes are like really shiny. Look it for yourself. Wow, it's really bright. I'm going to get a sun flare on my lens. I better be careful because you know what happened. Well, let me give you some little bit of a history. An Apollo program, when I believe it was Apollo 12, I think, one of the astronauts accidentally put one of the TV cameras and accidentally pointed to the sun. Remember that the moon has no atmosphere, and you know what happens next? It burnt out the lens. And that is a dumbest mistake. There's a lot of dumbest mistakes in space history. A lot of them were like this. A lot of them were just like, oh man. And a lot of them were like, what happened? Oh, my stomach is very angry and vicious. So what do you think? I wish I could get my headphones so I can allow me to. Oh my gosh, shut up, stomach. So yeah, it was very, oh, face palm. I can actually see my speakers on my Bose speakers. You can see there's a really because when the sun is hitting, you can actually see because these Bose speakers are been here for a while. They've been beat up because of me and my dad. Always attacking each other because of headbutting each other. My dad just threatens me, with my computer. You can see it's, just messed up. He's been just doing everything. I mean, if he actually was still here and doing this, eventually this computer is just going to die. I mean, obviously he'll just repair it because he's a genius, and that makes no sense because he is the person. I can rip the, well, he said, I can take I will disassemble the entire computer and then show it to you. What a mean person. And obviously he knows in the nooks and crannies and probably would even do that in a millisecond. Well, not millisecond because milliseconds are really fast. So I don't know. I don't want to ask him. And you know what he did? Even he does Legos too. He even rest up. Well, I bet he doesn't play Legos or anything, but he tore them up as I was building, and then I came home and then it was just a crumble of Legos that I built that was just, something fantastic, and he came over. What a dick. I mean, that's like really a mean person that really doesn't. I think it was, I don't know what I did wrong, but it was very small. And my mom took pictures of it because this was like, who would do this? Oh my God, my stomach. Who would do this to his a perfect child like me would do that. Oh man, there's a lot of dark secrets in my dad family. I'm not sure if he likes me talking about him, but he doesn't watch my videos. If he does, then well, he's in Montana. What is he gonna do? Teleport over here and try to, he can't, which obviously if he actually terminate my account, which would be very ridiculous because he's a genius, he could probably do that, but I think he's having other things in his other hand to do something else. The only way he can do that is he has to report all my videos, but I think you can only have one chance, and that would be very inappropriate because he's my dad, and wouldn't someone do that? He probably won't. The only thing that really made him angry was the fact that my username for my Wade the Wall back in 2015 was actually Rondo Ivansky Warner. Yeah, it was literally my mom's name, and my dad. I didn't know how to change it. So all this months, or maybe not a year, I think it was months or maybe a year. After all this time, I didn't know how to change it. And then finally, I knew how to change it. And then my dad just stepped out, I'm like, okay, finally knew it. And I was like, how about you tell me how to do it? My dad actually used to have a YouTube account a long time ago. But he deleted it. Like, he's like really shy. He doesn't like to be, he used to be, opened out, but he doesn't like to be, filmed, I should say. It's like one of those people out there that don't like to have their face shown unless that they have a lot of subscribers that they force them to do it, which I have seen before. And it surprised me because one video I saw, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I even, care about that, but wow. And it's amazing how this actually works. Obviously, sometimes it works. There's this one person that possibly is the reason that I probably got terminated without a warning. That was scary. Actually, it's not scary. It's just sad. Because scary is a very short term. Scared is basically a short thing. If you're completely scared permanently or like permanently, then that's just not right. If you're scared permanently, that means you have to be scared of something. Remember, I have autism, so just deal with whatever I'm saying. It's probably all BS and stuff, and just, but to be in knowledge in that, it's obviously worth it. But speaking of, I should say, okay, Portal 2 co-op. Now, you're thinking that I only played 2 rounds, and the 2 of them had basically a little person playing it. It seems like it must be rated E for everyone because I don't think there's no blood. So if Portal, obviously, since I'm thinking, I'm like 19 years old, I've been playing Team Fortress 2 since I was 17. So since I got Steam in 26, I got Steam in 2013. My first game was Garry's Mod. Thanks to somebody that told me to not mention him again. He's actually very shy. Yeah, I give all credit to him, and I still to this day give him all the credit because he actually did something that really changed a lot of things into my, I should say, storyline of my life and everything. Now my blood cells, what am I saying? Not blood cells, my brain cells are now coming back together. And you notice that the sun just moved. Yeah, it's continuously moving. Yeah, it's because the sun is not shining through this here. So yeah, you can tell that the sun moves really fast. Not the sun, the earth rotates. Wow, what am I saying? I'm saying that the sun moves. The sun really doesn't move. It actually does move, but there's a barycenter. If you have no idea what that means, then basically it's a point of region that is where it orbits. So just imagine that it's orbiting something. You can find this at Universe Sandbox 2 that basically demonstrates that, or I should say, Space Engine. So that's how physics works. You got physics and stuff that works into that agenda, and it works. Not works. Jupiter, even though it's far away, its mass is so strong that it affects the sun. Now, you think that Jupiter is a failed gas, I should say star. There's a lot of video, or I should say some videos, I don't know how many, that demonstrate that the Earth, I mean the Jupiter is actually never going to actually eventually turn into a star. The only way you can turn yourself to a star is you have to have fusion. And the only way you have to have fusion is you have to have, well, gases. Our star has, if you look at its Wikipedia contents, it's always it does have iron in its core, but I guess it's a very small amount, because if there's a lot of iron, that's negative energy. Iron has negative energy, apparently. Xenon has energy. Oxygen has energy. I'm saying in fusion, that means they fuse together. That's energy with so much pressure that it fuses atoms together. So you have, I forgot how it goes. So you have nitrogen. No, wait, it goes it's hydrogen. Hydrogen is the one atom, because I know that hydrogen is one. It goes to helium. I don't know. I haven't. It's something like that, and it goes down to the atoms, I think, and to the gases, and it gets, eventually our star won't go supernova. It will swell up, but it won't go supernova. It would just eventually, just because it will lose its mass, it would turn to a white dwarf. So yeah, it just would, but that's billions of years later. That I won't be even here. You won't even be here. Your son won't even be here. Your other, I have no idea. If I was still alive, I'll be your great 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 great. Oh my god, a lot of great 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 great, which would be impossible unless if you're like that person from Star Trek that they said it was like a two. That episode on I think it was The Next Generation, and they were like in this why am I doing this? I'm spoiling it. And a probe of some sort saying that they will have a cure for their disease in the future, so they could cryostasis, which would be impossible apparently to a person named Chris Hadfield. He did a lot of debunks from all these movies that some of them I've never seen before, and some of them I've seen before. Whoa, hello, squirrels. Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah, so cryostasis is impossible. Well, obviously it is, and obviously if you're like, there's a lot of movies that have this cryostasis thing. You have Alien, Isolate, just Alien. Why am I saying Isolation? That is a game. The Xenomorph guy. Then you have, what else? There's something. There's a lot of movies out there. You use cryogenic, and then when they woke up, they're like this thing, and it was a probe, and I'm like, and then there's like the year is like 20, the year is like 20, 22, 23 or something, and they're like, you've been asleep for like 300 years. No, wait. 500 years? No, wait. Yeah, it was 300 years, I think. You've been asleep for 300 years. And it was interesting is that, that's the only thing you could do is like go cryostasis and then wait. And of course, if I went to cryostasis and if you're my relative, obviously things would change, since, of course, if you're lucky, you probably would see this and you're like, okay, what am I saying? What am I saying? What was I talking about? Oh my god, I have no idea. Cryostasis. What? Wow, I'm jumping all over the place. ADHD and autism. They don't get along. They do get along, but no, it doesn't work that way. Obviously, I wonder if there's either one doctor that has even seen one of my videos. I think they have, but it's not a doctor. It was just, not even a doctor. I mean, obviously, some of the, teachers probably don't care, but some teachers would care, but they have other things to do because of this COVID virus thing that's been going around. Oh, man. I remember those days, and, oh, wait. Yeah, that was just weird. Um, and then you have cryostasis and a manned mission to Pluto. That would be very, very interesting. Probably take about maybe 10. It depends on the orbit around orbit. And because that, it's still moving, anything else is moving in the entire universe. Everything is moving, I think. Yeah. So technically, unless if you look at it, it's not moving, but it could be moving. Wait, if everything's moving, well, pretty much the ground is moving. You can't feel it, but it's a continuous amount of energy. It's the core. Well, I think it is, but the core is still running. The core is the thing that drives the magnetic field. If you probably watched this not famous movie called The Core, they explain why the core stopped, and then later on, they have a reason why the core stopped. But yeah, I had to, it's on Netflix. Go ahead and watch it. Yeah, explain. I've seen it a long time ago, and I didn't like it when I was younger. Now I do because it's more realistic. It's like more realistic than Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's like those. If you watch that really old classic Journey to the Center of the Earth, you probably think about that big drill that they drilled into, and then in the beginning they showed and then they go down to the center of the Earth. And if you're saying center of the Earth, you're meaning the core, which is very much pressure. And if there's life down there, there's possibly the mantle, but in the core, there's like these pockets of amethyst. If you know what amethyst is, or also diamond, amethyst is amethyst. Wait, what? Not that other amethyst person. I mean the real crystal amethyst, not the character amethyst, which I heard people about. I never watched it, but let me show you amethyst and diamond, real ones, and trust me, these are real. If I know where it's at. Where did I put that? Or did I? Interesting. I can't find it. Well, I guess we have to down there again. Well, I guess I can't find it. I guess we have to look for it another time, but oh, hello. Yeah, I know. It's easy, but I take it the hard way. I have to find it. Well, if you don't know what amethyst is, if you don't have I should say anything about amethyst, the crystal, and obviously, or diamond. But if you actually seen diamond before, it's supposed to be hard. Now, obviously, in Minecraft, it's supposed to be the best material, but diamond isn't actually blue. It's actually white. That's racist. It's just because of it looks clear, but it's made out of carbon material. I don't understand how people observe diamond. It's so gorgeous. And then you look at it, it's like it's made out of carbon. If you put a flame to it, it just evaporates. Wait, it's like they did one experiment with real diamonds, and then diamond just evaporated into just a gas. So it's carbon dioxide. Well, carbon dioxide is the easiest thing to get. It's all over. If you really want carbon dioxide, you have to go to Mars. Well, I mean, you're not gonna like it because you're gonna suffocate worse because it's just terrible. Mars has a very thin atmosphere and there's no magnetic field, and you're gonna get a lot of cancer. You're gonna die. I mean, rovers can handle it because they don't, but they have a, thing that detects radiation, and it's terrible. However, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has detected small blotches of magnetic field areas, but they are in this area. And how they detect it using those wires that, open to, I don't know, but yeah, they are sort of, but I have a theory. No, I don't have a theory, but magnetic field is, the core of the Earth is rotating so fast. It's like this. If you have I should say, a CD disc and you rotate so fast, and if you're actually walking on it, if you're farther away from it, you move faster. However, if you are on a racetrack, which I have done before, you actually go quicker. Reason why is because, well, that's how it works, it seems like. If you ever go to if you're at a PE and you're going on the track and doing, your track work and stuff, which I have done before. And what I did was I ran, and it took more shorter by going to the furthest end, instead of going outwards, because you actually have more time walking. So the closer you get, the more less time you actually get closer, because it's, well, relative to an oval, but it actually is still the same. As soon as you hit those curves, you have a good advantage of actually getting less energy wasted, I should say. But it's not an advantage. It's still the same, even though that it is a racetrack. You might as well have to have a straight line instead of. That's why they, in a racetrack at, well, by the West, which I, went to and did all the things, and they have, it's like an H in it's like, two of them like straight lines. So that's why possibly is when you run back and forth, you go forward and back instead of going around. That's only reason to actually have an accurate capability, which you could do more sports into that. I forgot the other thing for it, but I think it's called, I forgot. It's been a while since I, did any physical, health. And so yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, the core of the Earth is rotating, and Mars really doesn't have that much of a magnetic field. So you get, yeah. So yeah. So what happens if the core stops spinning in our planet? Well, if you watch the core, basically that what happens. Instead, it won't be like an open small little hole in the area. Probably because the magnetic field will disappear. Well, it has never been done before, but magnetic field will instantly go away if it stops all of a sudden. So the ozone, which is 3 oxygen atoms, will eventually, I think, disappear. And then the EM, and then of course you're going to have a lot more heat. Probably it will start at the poles, not at San Francisco. It's not going to start at San Francisco and start blowing up everything. No, it probably most likely go to the poles. And then it will work its way unzipping itself, and and eventually the poles. It won't mean that it will mean global warming. It won't warm up. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. I'm not sure if the core is more accurate. The movie, I'm not sure, but most of it's accurate. I don't think thunderstorms won't appear out of nowhere of electricity. I don't know, but obviously it will increase sprites, which sprites actually have a tendency to ionize the ozone layer. And what happens if you don't know what sprites are? They're amazing. Sprites are basically, well, I've never seen them, but I've seen them on a lot of things and stuff. And what they are is, well, they are. Let's say they're not lightning. They are translumination. No, wait, what are they called? TLEs or something. And what they do is, if you look at a thunderstorm, all right, a really wild, very bad thunderstorm, occasionally you have to use a super slow motion camera to look at it, and people have actually done that. It's a cool documentary on yeah, all about that. And when the lightning strikes, occasionally there will be a an angel or something like that pops up. Actually, it is it is some type of, well, it's a lot of things to explain about it. I forgot what it is. No, it is something, but it's not. It is a. I think it's like it's not. It's not electricity. It's ionizing the atmosphere, and you get blue jets, and you get sprites. And what happens is when you look, you have to very catch it. But if you lucky, you can see it, and it just boop, very quick. Lightning does, is very fast, and you can eventually, if this, you can film lightning, which is easy. If you find a thunderstorm, you can find like lightning and then slow down time. Sometimes you have lightning that goes up and then down. Obviously, there's invincible things such as protons and neutrons or protons, and negative charge and positive charge. They're invincible, and then all of a sudden, you have a bolt of lightning that is visible to our eyes, and that's and it's blue because I have no idea. I'm not a expert of lightning. I'm not a person that knows. Obviously, you can make electricity by yourself. You can actually use a plasma globe, which basically has gases inside that helps that you like those plasma globes. And what happens is there is plasma, and you can actually make plasma in microwave, but I recommend not to because unless if you're people like on YouTube that are like experts of this stuff, you're not going to do that because that's just damaging a lot of expert. And obviously, don't open a microwave because you'll kill yourself, because there's a lot of dangerous things in the microwave that will eventually kill you no matter what. You can try, no matter what you could do, you can try discharging it, but you can't now remove some parts that will eventually have this powder inside that will just suffocate you. And of course, cause of death, being stupid. And you have to be very intelligent and know what your, I should say, areas are. I don't know how a microwave uses electricity. Is it like a magnetic field, or is it just how, like, it's just weird of how microwaves can just heat something up, but there's actually a small bit of radiation. Um, so, yeah, I've seen I remember I was on the roof of a office building. I have been on a roof office building, and it was a small office building, but there was gravel, gravel everywhere, you know, on the roof, and there was a dish. It didn't work, but he left that place, and oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of radiation that happens. The plasma from I've learned a lot from YouTube and resources that people do, like electricity, and then you have not explosions, but obviously, I mean, there's a lot. I'm not a demolition. I'm not the expert of, I should say, explosion, like that guy from the lost city of Atlantis, of course, that guy that looks just like pale or something. He's a very, what am I saying? I'm not a demolition. I'm not a botanist. I'm not anything. I don't have a PhD degree over at a university saying, hey, I can do explosions. Is that what? What way are you saying? And then of course you go and like Left 4 Dead 2 is like, oh, how do you make a pipe bomb? And then it's like, what? What are you talking about? You're crazy. Only you could do that in a zombie apocalypse, unless yeah, I don't know why they had pipe bombs in Left 4 Dead 2, because that's like, in the game for a zombie sense, I mean that's okay, but it's like, what? I understand if you're in a zombie apocalypse and there's no grenades, and what Bill quotes is like, well, it's not a grenade, it's something to blow up with, because he's a military guy. It's like, there's no grenades, but there are pipe bombs, which I don't know, like the chemical things, but obviously we use other chemicals for good things such as cleaning and, obviously a lot of the stuff is used for rocket fuel for making sure you can have your rocket for your launch, like hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen is a interesting fuel source. The space shuttle used it. Solid fuel is a very different thing. It uses aluminum. That's what I heard. And for its solid fuel, it cannot turn it off. It's like a it's like a gunpowder rocket. I wonder how efficiency with a gunpowder rocket. Obviously, gunpowder is the lowest amount of, I should say, firepower. It is very flammable. How about flint? Flint is very easy to light up, but it's a very short amount of time. So obviously, you're not going to light up a rocket that looks dorky. Oh, look, it's a rocket. It's a firework. It's completely different. It uses, gunpowder. And I guess there's a lot of, I don't know how the process works for to make those colors. I forgot. There was a how it's made thing that was long time ago that I saw. So yeah, I think it's like a powder. Yeah, there's a lot of powder and stuff that makes those explosions with colors. So, fireworks, and then of course move into fireworks, and then actually a long time ago, obviously fireworks were used for weapons. But not in like cartoons or stuff like that. You have like a rocket, and then just launch it in her face or something. And like launch them in the air. But it's not stable when you have unless you're using a propane tank, which obviously I don't understand how people don't use a propane tank. But unless if you have like because you can open and close the valve to have a throttling I should say pressure nozzle. Would you think that would be easy? I have concepts. Well, I should say, think to use that, because if you look at accidents, because there's a lot of these, like a propane facility, they have like these batches of propane tanks, and all of a sudden there's a fire, and then all of them blow up, and they shoot in the sky and blow up, and it's very dangerous. But if those things can make it up that high, then it's like you can make a rocket out of that, putting into a low Earth orbit. But how about a sounding rocket that basically goes into actually straight up? And of course, if you're a newbie that doesn't know how to orbit a surgeon, you're probably gonna use a solid rocket. I remember one time when I was at school. I remember I was doing PE and I was seeing these rockets launch, and a lot of them were like ideas. One of them had a cool parachute. When it launched, it opened up a parachute. It was really cool. I stopped everything to watch that. It was amazing. It was really cool. To see those things going up, and that one was very cool because a parachute popped out, and that's cool. That's really cool. Now, obviously, the first ever missile that was like a rocket was, of course, the V2 rocket. Yeah, it's really interesting. It is the basic element, and they're huge. It's big. I thought it would be small, but it's pretty big. And of course, Werner von Braun, you got this, and then World War II ended, and then it turned into a thing for science. And then of course they added a second stage. It's like it's impossible to put a second stage. And then of course you got it, into high orbit, not high orbit, but a high altitude. It was really interesting. And then of course they modified it, and made the Mercury, and then Redstone, and then Redstone is actually not for Minecraft. It actually is a term for Mercury Redstone rocket, which is actually a crew system to. Yeah, I'm like, well, really? Redstone is actually a real word. Wow. What am I saying? A real word. Tongue twister there for a bit. What am I saying? It's just nonsense. Obviously, you get the picture, so I think it should have to play some games, so I'll just leave.